First 6 weeks exam. Number 1. Under a microscope, a series of cells are observed that lack membrane-bound organelles. Which of these is most likely the cell type? A. A plant cell, B. An animal cell, C. A eukaryotic cell, or D. A prokaryotic cell? Number 2. 4 different types of cells are shown below. Which characteristic is shared by all 4 cells? A. A mechanism for transforming sunlight into energy, B. Self-locomotion, C. Membrane-bound organelles that transport substances, or D. Genetic material composed of DNA. Number 3. The function of the organelle indicated above is the powerhouse of the cell that converts food into energy, ATP, that cells can use. What is the name of this organelle? A. Golgi apparatus, B. Mitochondria, C. Nucleus, D. Ribosome. Number 4. Which of the following shows the sequence of levels of organization that are shown in the illustration above? A. Tissue, cell, organ system, organ, B. Cell, tissue, organ, organ system, C. Cell, organ, organ system, tissue, or D. Tissue, organ, cell, organ system. Number 5. These cells have different structures because they A. Are located in different places in the organism, B. Can only fit in small places, C. Divided at different stages, or D. Have different functions. Number 6. The endosymbiotic theory explains how A. Prokaryotic cells evolved from eukaryotic cells, B. Eukaryotic cells evolved from prokaryotic cells, C. Viruses replicate using a host cell, or D. Molecules are transported through the cell membrane. Number 7. An infectious particle that is made of DNA surrounded by a protein coat is A. Bacterium, B. Prion, C. Virus, or D. Protista. Number 8. How do viruses reproduce? A. They divide through mitosis, B. Sexually by external fertilization, C. Replication outside the cell, or D. Inserting DNA into a host cell. Number 9. The 1918 influenza epidemic killed between 50 million and 100 million people worldwide. This epidemic happened near the end of World War I. More people died from the influenza epidemic than were killed in the war. Which of the following explains why this virus was so deadly worldwide? A. Infected soldiers returning from war spread the virus when they coughed. B. Food was scarce because of the war, so people were undernourished and their immune systems were weakened. C. Medical personnel often became ill as a result of exposure to airborne virus particles, or D. All of the above. Number 10. Proteins that serve as tunnels for specific substances through the lipid bilayer are A. Cell surface markers, B. Channel proteins, C. Receptor proteins, or D. Enzymes. 11. Which phrase best describes the property of selective permeability? A. Some molecules pass, B. All ions pass, C. Large molecules pass, or D. All molecules pass. Number 12. The image below represents a cell with a semi-permeable membrane. The process of osmosis would explain the net movement of water into the cell if the initial percentage of A. Protein was 35% inside the cell and 35% outside the cell, B. Water was 95% inside the cell and 80% outside the cell, C. Water was 80% inside the cell and 95% outside the cell, or D. Protein was 30% inside the cell and 45% outside the cell. Number 13. This diagram shows cellular activity across the cell membrane. Which two processes does this diagram most directly model? A. energy conversions and synthesis of new molecules. B. Synthesis of new molecules and homeostasis. C. Transport of molecule and energy conversions. Or D. Homeostasis and transport of molecules. Number 14. The diagram below shows how paramecium maintains homeostasis. If the paramecium is placed in a hypertonic environment, which of the following will occur? A. Water will diffuse into the paramecium. B. Water will diffuse out of the paramecium. C. Salt will be pumped out of the paramecium by a vacuole. Or D. Salt will be pumped into the paramecium by the vacuole. Lastly, number 15. The diagram below represents a white blood cell engulfing some bacteria. Which of the following statements is true in regards to this process? A. This represents exocytosis, active transport and requires energy. B. This represents facilitated diffusion and no energy is required. C. This represents endocytosis, active transport and requires energy. Or D. This represents diffusion and no energy is required.